Gridiron Grinder! Hut hut hike!
All right, party people. It's Friday night, Gridiron Grinder time. I'm Ryan. With me, as always, is my buddy James. Just a couple of dudes hanging out, talking about what's going on in the NFL each week. For tonight, we are going to be digging into some fantasy football stuff, and we're going to go through the early Yahoo Fantasy Football average draft position by, position, quarterback, running back, blah, 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 blah. And we're going to talk about, what do we like, dislike. I like to compare it to some of the points per game that they've had in previous seasons, and obviously look at changes as like, is it a player that's rising or sort of like declining? Did their situation get better or worse or whatever the case may be? And so all that kind of fun stuff. And so maybe we'll uncover some sleepers along the way. I'm sure we'll find a few that are for sure overvalued. But yeah, with all that being said, how's it going tonight there, James?
It's going all right. How's it going with you?
Not too bad, my man. Not too bad. And so, hey, this episode prompted me to renew the league, my man.
Yes, because I tried. You wouldn't even have known unless I tried to go in and look at the ADP, and it's like your commissioner has not renewed the league. He said, "Fuck you."
I mean, it's still May, but I get it. We do this at this time of year every year, so it's all good. I mean, hey, we've had the league rolling for 26 years, so if I'm not mistaken, so it'll be or 24 years. This will be year number 24, I think. So it started in 2003, right? So yeah, long time, man, long time. All right, so how do you want to do this, man? Do you want to go quarterback first? Do you want to go quarterback last? Do you care?
I don't give a fuck.
Let's go quarterback first. I think quarterback first is like an easy one to sort of like cut our teeth on, right? Because there's not like a zillion quarterbacks. There's really only like 15 or so that are relevant. So we'll start there and we'll move our way on. And so looking at the early ADP, you got Josh Allen on top. Then you got Lamar Jackson, Drake May, Joe Burrow, Jaden Daniels, Jalen Hurts, Justin Herbert, Jackson Dart, Caleb Williams, Dak Prescott, Trevor Lawrence, Patrick Mahomes, Bo Nix. That rounds out your top 13, which basically gets you through, like the top 100 in average draft position, right?
More than that.
No, it looks like Bo Nix is going at 98.5.
Yeah, so a couple things about this is Lamar Jackson is a lot of future for him. And if you look at points per game,
oh yeah,
last year he's 20th? Less than Aaron fucking Rodgers.
No, hang on. Sorry, I gotta sort this. Yeah, if you sort it by points per game,
16th.
16, man. And yeah, and people are chasing that MVP season he had however many years ago, but it's like you're saying, it's such a boomer bust prospect for Lamar. And I think this year there's a lot of uncertainty, right? Because you're going into a year where you've got a whole new coaching staff and, they've had changes on the offensive line. And so I'm just like, I'm not thrilled with it.
Yeah, so 2 years ago he was tops points per game, 25.6 in 2024, and I think that was the MVP season, or was it the year before that was the MVP season?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that one was a Josh Allen one or what, but either way, he has the potential, but do you really want to chase it?
What was his MVP year? I just want to see. So it was 2019 and 2023. So it was 2023 where he was fourth in points per game, and even in his MVP season, like this is such good. Just looking at the last like crunch time, see week 14 through week 16, he had 18, 7.1, 18.6.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
Yeah,
And that
and
was
yeah, and I mean, I think looking at the list, you go a couple spots down, and you got Joe Burrow. It's kind of a similar thing with Joe Burrow, right? Where yeah, he's had some years where he's put up some monster points per game, but he also is like very prone to injury. And like you look at last year, man, I mean, he was like tied for, or not tied for 15th. He was at 15. I mean, it's like that's a lot of boomer bust to go after for a top five pick.
yeah.
Now, Drake May, I like Drake May there. The question is, are they going to have some kind of Super Bowl hangover? They're going from one of the easiest schedules to a much harder schedule. And so Drake May could have some regression this year, but he is young in hypothetically still getting better. And so him being third is not horrible because he was number 2 last year in points per game. So
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, what's this year's? I think I can keep him for like like an 11th round pick or some shit like that.
power to you, my man.
No, even what round did I take him in? All right, let me see. Drake May. I took a 7th round pick. I took him in the 9th. I just had a feeling on him.
Yeah, I mean his ADP is 41.4, so you'd be getting some value there.
Yeah, him. I unfortunately can't keep Williams or Laporta anymore.
Gotcha.
But then again, also, wow, I only have like one keeper on my. Damn.
So, going further on the list here, after Burrow, you got Jaden Daniels. His ADP is 50.6. This is another one I don't like, man. Yeah, he came out his rookie year with a bang, but then last year, man, hurt all the time. And where was he at? 17,
17.
17 in points per game. Do you really want to have him be one of your top 5 guys? I just feel like it's chasing a lot of risk in the upside's not totally worth it. Jalen Hurts at 6, I much prefer that. Jalen Hurts at 6.
Even with Jalen Hurts, though, you're looking okay. Yeah, you have a top 10 points per game, but like that high of his average draft pick, like average draft 53.1, like you want a definite over 20, 21, over 20, 21 points per game, somewhere in there.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue that. What I'm saying is that him being number 6 in ranking on ADP and then was the 7th ranked points per game quarterback last year, at least you're looking at something that's comparable, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the appeal with Jalen Hurts is that the dude like barely ever gets injured. And
no, he misses time all the fucking time.
I'm not compared to Joe Burrow or Jaden Daniels or Lamar Jackson.
The thing with Jalen Hurts is this year is shaping up to be a really good fucking year for Philadelphia. How their schedule is, everything coming into it, it's looking like a good year, and that's where Jalen Hurts gets a boost for me.
I mean, here we go. I mean, I just Googled it, so maybe this is messed up, but it says he's only missed 4 games in his career. 1 game in 21, 2 games in 22, and 1 game in 24.
That can't be right because that one year we were.
I don't know. This is Google Gemini.
Pro Football Reference is verifying that I'm fucking human right now, so I can't tell you. All right.
Yeah.
25 he played.
I trust Jalen Hurts far more than Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Jaden Daniels. That's all I'm saying.
So let me see. He played. Oh. Wow. Why do I feel like there was one year where he was
the
like
one year
6
they
weeks?
the one year they had Pickett or whatever came in and started some games, right? But that must have, there must have been more to it than this because it's saying he's only missed 4 in his career. And he,
Wow,
and he runs the ball. So, he belongs in the top 10 for fantasy, right?
20. Mm-hmm.
From a fantasy perspective, he's given you a safe floor. He's put up top 10 points per game. I think he's the safest pick that we're seeing so far on this list, man. I mean, Josh Allen is rock solid, but you're, with an ADP of 18.8, we're not even in the same fucking stratosphere here, right? So
And then after Hurts, you have Herbert. I mean,
yeah,
Herbert,
I'm always
it feels to me like
a homer for Herbert, but man, it's just they're on a run first team.
Yeah, but Herbert's a lot of feast or famine with Herbert, like last year and even before. Like I mean, you can't have games where he only puts up 4 points. Or
yeah, I think the reason why I might get on board with Herbert at this ranking is because they brought in Mike McDaniel. And I would say, okay, this is a guy that even last year when they were a run first team finished 10th in fantasy points per game. Now, hypothetically, he's supposed to have this offensive mastermind behind him that should unlock something that wasn't there last year. And so I could get on board with this for Herbert. I don't think it's like some exorbitant ranking, but like you're saying, he does have boom and bust potential with him too.
Yeah. And I mean,
and then obviously Jackson Dart, you're betting on I like Jackson Dart last year. He ran the ball a lot, showed potential, but you're expecting another jump up, and it's unknown what's going to happen with Neighbors. And I know Neighbors was out a ton last year anyhow, right? So how much does that matter for Jackson Dart? I'd be cautious. You got a whole new coaching staff. Let's not go and get crazy. I think the one that eventually we're going to get to and talk about, might as well do it now, is you got fucking Goff, man, like way down here, below fucking Aaron Rodgers, man. I mean, is he even in the top 20 here? Let me count it. 1, 2, 3.
19?
Oh, I had 18. Maybe I missed one.
Maybe.
Or maybe I skipped one. I got 18.
I got 18.
18, man. And I mean, here's the thing. He finished 13 last year in points per game. And that was a really bad year for the Lions with the offensive line. You look at it and you say, hey, you move Penny over to left. You brought in Blake Miller. Well, I'm just saying. You move him to left. You get the right tackle, the rookie. You brought in Cade Mays at center. You get another year with Ratledge at right guard to develop. I mean, this line should be notably better than last year. I would be buying stock on Goff with a fucking 18 ranked ADP. I would for sure have him over fucking Rodgers. And it's crazy seeing Stafford at 16, man. Stafford was the fucking tied for 2 in points per game last year.
Yeah, and that's I think that's going to change a little
as
bit
we get closer.
as we get closer. I think Stafford's going to climb up the board. I think a lot of this ADP is these are early, and people are concerned about, well, they drafted Ty Simpson, what's going on with
Oh my
Stafford,
gosh,
and
yeah.
blah 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 blah. Like, I see Stafford moving up the board
Yeah.
here. I think this is just, well, we don't know what's going on.
I gotcha. And and honestly, a lot of the rest of these, Caleb Williams, Dak, Trevor, Mahomes, you can make the argument for them to be in that range. And I think even with Kyler Murray, you can argue he has some sleeper potential with where he's at because of the system he's going into with the wide receivers that he's inheriting. I think it's a no-brainer he's going to win that starting job.
I
And it
think so
could
too.
be
But
it could be a career year for him statistically in that Minnesota Vikings offense, man.
But you're looking at the guy. If he's what, this 10th round, so all your teams have drafted quarterbacks, and you're looking at, well, I'm getting the last one. You're banking on him being the starter. Yeah, most likely he's going to be the starter. Most likely, I would almost guarantee it, but I would like more assurance that he's the starter before banking on him there. I would much rather draft a Goff, who I know is being a starter there, versus Kyler Murray. How it sits right now.
Yeah, and all right, yeah, that's fine. And then I would say, another guy that I think's getting sandbagged hard here is fucking Baker Mayfield, man. Look how low he is. He's below Malik Willis. He's below Fernando Mendoza. He's below Shug. It's just, this is a guy that, he was 19th in points per game last year, which was a down year for him. But going back the last 2-3 years, he has been fucking solid, man. I just don't know why you would want to risk it with a guy like fucking Malik Willis. Or whatever. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Even Fernando Mendoza, you really think the rookie's going to come in and outplay on a points per game Baker Mayfield? I don't see it, man.
Well, the thing with Baker Mayfield, I think people are really hyping up Fernando Mendoza. I think it's way overrated as it is. I don't like the fact that, according to the fantasy rankings, according to Yahoo rankings, if you just take out ADP and you look at how Baker Mayfield's rated 138 while Show's rated 133, or Malik Willis at 121.
Yeah.
That confuses me.
Yeah, you're right. Because that's where Yahoo's ranking them, not what the average draft position is.
Yeah.
And I would trust the Yahoo rankings more, except that even then, a lot of their rankings are similar to the ADP within the top 10. Mm-hmm. And that's where we have 3 or 4 of those discrepancies that we talked about earlier.
Yeah. And can Lamar Jackson light it up and at times and throw up a bunch of fucking points? Yes. Can he have dozens of games? Yes. Are you banking on more good games than duds? Probably.
Yeah, I got you, man.
But still, I don't get, I agree with you. I don't get Jaden Daniels being where he is. That makes no sense. I don't get Jackson Dart because, he had a great rookie year, or he showed a lot of promise, but is Jackson Dart better or more consistent than Dak Prescott? No. Is Caleb Williams more consistent than Dak Prescott? No. And you know me,
look at
Dak
the weapons.
Prescott.
Yeah, and look at the weapons Dak has, man. He's got basically 2 number 1 wide receivers and a top 5 borderline top 5 tight end. I mean, it's I can't get on board with that. Plus the years of experience, and I'm not a big Dak fan myself, but he does get the fucking stats.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I mean, last year he was eighth in points per game at 19.
Yeah, and they ran the ball a lot more last year, man.
Exactly.
All right, what do you say? You want to go to what's next here?
Yeah, let's go down the line. What's next? Wide receivers.
Next up, wide receiver. Okay, so wide receiver definitely going to be a little bit more volatile from year to year. There's way more players, way more going on, but still important to take a look at. You got Jamar at 1, Puka at 2, Jackson Smith and Jigba at 3. I mean, like, I don't think you can, nobody's going to balk at that, right? These are all guys that were top 5 in points per game last year. I worry about Jamar Chase just because of the availability of his quarterback. If the guy's hurt, you got to worry about what value Jamar Chase is going to have. And this guy gets hurt every year. And that bothers me, man. And so I don't like that he's the number 1 in ADP. It's not as safe as what I would like it to be.
No, he's not as safe as I would like it to be. And at 3, the third ADP, Jackson Smith and Jigba, like I get he had a great year last year. I get he's shown a lot. I get all that. My concerns is they're coming off the Super Bowl.
Yep, they're everybody's target now.
And they're everybody's target. Everybody, like he snuck up on everybody last year, really.
And they and they were an overly efficient passing game when they were near the bottom of the league in pass attempts. And so, yeah, can he replicate that without them necessarily opening up those pass attempts? I doubt it. And they probably will open up the pass attempts a little bit more this year because they've got a little bit more comfort and trust in Sam Darnold. Kenneth Walker's gone. They've made some changes. So I could see it not being a huge drop down, but I can see it being a drop down for sure.
Yeah, and then you get a little bit after that at 4 with CeeDee Lamb. Like, where was CeeDee Lamb in points per game?
I've never been a big CeeDee Lamb fan in fantasy, man. 19th in points per game.
19th in points per game.
He's flashy, but he just is not a consistent top dog, in my opinion, man. And especially now when he's got competition with Pickens. And they've been running the ball more like we talked about. I do not trust him to be this high at all. He is top 10 in ADP because he's a Dallas guy and he's flashy when he does get the ball. He always does this little cocaine move with his hands and whatever. Of course, I think they ban that now, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So, St. Brown, I think, barring injury, knock on wood, whatever, he is a very, very steady, reliable guy. I'm comfortable with him there. Justin Jefferson, he's one of those guys where it doesn't matter what's going on with the quarterback position. He's going to get his fill. Drake London does seem a little bit high for me. I know he had a good year last year, but, man, I don't know. Something about that just seems off to me. I would rather have Nico Collins above him. I'd rather have a few people above him. But
Drake London on miss at least, just looking at it, looks like he played in 12 games last year.
Okay.
And he had 8th in ADP, but he only played in 12 games. And he had some huge duds. They're like, just looking, week 7, 4.2 points. Week 16, 2.7. Week 17, 0.4.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, and then, after him, I think you got, Malik Neighbors is going to fall, I think, because, his status for week 1's in doubt, right? Like, he's good.
Yeah.
Had a great rookie year, but, like, look at last year, man. He barely played. He only had 39 fantasy points on the season. And with it being jeopardy for week 1, I don't see how you take him this high. Rashee Rice is another one that I'd be concerned with. I know that he's like the up and coming guy, but come on, man, the dude's got crazy off the field shit now.
Yeah, and we don't know. Like he has a looming potential suspension, so taking him that high, like you're counting on him being there basically every the your number two wide receiver is he being there every week besides his bye.
Yeah, dude, there's a lot of aggressive wide receiver moves, man. A lot of them. Oh, man, where do you stop? And I know you can make the case for some of these, like, Tatoria McMillan, great year last year. You're hoping everything gets better with him and Bryce Young in that offense. I'm fine with him there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that his ADP was a little bit lower, 25th last year, but that to me is a safe bet for improvement. Some of these other guys, it's just the opposite. Like, the narrative's just all wrong, man.
Yeah, and like AJ Brown, a couple spots ahead of him. Like you don't know where AJ Brown's going to play, and
Yeah,
last
it's an
year
unknown.
last year he didn't do shit.
Yep. Let's see what else is standing out as just flagrant.
Emeka Ibuka.
I mean, he did start the year freaking hot last year, and Mike Evans is gone, right?
Mm-hmm.
I might be able to get on board with him there. It's it's putting a lot of expectations on him, but when I look at like the sort of the bracket of players around him, I do kind of see a path to him getting the targets.
Yeah, no, but it feels low for him. Is what I
Oh,
was
all
saying.
right, all right, all right. I thought you were saying it was high. I was like, no, I can see it. I can see that for sure with him.
No, I think he should be up closer to like Higgins or McMillan area.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I could definitely see him being up there. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, because it's going to be a similar situation as McMillan, right? He's likely going to inherit the top job
Mm-hmm.
in Tampa Bay. Um, Here's one that I'm not digging is Carnell Tate at 30, man. It seems like a huge bet on Cam Ward that I'm just
Mm-hmm.
not ready to make, man.
Well,
Especially with Carnell Tate being a rookie.
that and it was 20, 30, 20, 28, 27 with Mike Evans. That seems a little high coming off the injury. We know who Mike Evans is, but and
He's a performer, but yeah,
he's fitting
he's
into a new
getting into
offense.
specialist kind of territory, right?
Yeah.
He's getting into third down possession kind of guy. I think that because San Francisco doesn't really have a one, he'll be the de facto one, and he's still capable of doing it. It just remains to be seen, you know, how's all that going to play out in San Francisco. I'm
Yeah.
comfortable with it because Mike Evans he has always been undervalued, right? Like every year ADP, we're like, oh my God, Mike Evans is down here. And every year he gets 1,000 yards and fucking 10 touchdowns or whatever. And it's like, you know, but yeah, you're right. He's only getting older, and he did have some serious injuries last year, so it's one to keep an eye on. All right, let's see. What are we missing here? What else is sticking out? Just going through it. Cortland Sutton's not in the top 30, probably because they brought in Jalen Waddle.
Mm-hmm.
Quentin Johnston's not in the top 30, probably because it's Quentin Johnston, even though he finished in the top 20 in fantasy points per game last year. He was a boomer bust last year, and so you got to be careful with him.
And so was Cortland Sutton.
Yeah. I think Sutton was more premiered in the Denver offense, but I think that changes with Waddle. I think now once you get past this next range, you really get just a very mixed bag of you don't know what you're going to get, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know how hard you want to kick the can on these next, do you want to go 31 to 60 or whatever? Or do you want to just move to running backs?
Well, I mean, let's just take a look, see if there's.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you see somebody sticking out, let's call it out. Alec Pierce, I think, could maybe be some value where he's at if Daniel Jones picks up where he left off. My problem with that is Daniel Jones with the Achilles and him being a mobile-ish, I say, passer, I think could be a letdown of a year this year. But, if he's healthy, that could be a bargain for Alec Pierce at 32.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anyone in the next one that really
Jumping off the page at you.
Like, I don't think there are many sleepers in there. Like Mekhi Lemon could, like, if he slides into like the number 2 role there, he could light it up.
Yeah, and it's hard to tell with rookies, but I know what you mean. And yeah, we're not seeing like any huge disparity at this point with like points per game. You're kind of getting into that range of a lot's going to change and nobody really knows who's going to be the next guy to fucking just like jump out and nail it, man. We don't really know, man.
100%.
All right, off to running backs.
Off the running backs. We'll start it and then have to
we'll see where we make it. Yeah. All right. So Bijan at 1. I mean, he finished 3 last year points per game. You can't really argue that. Jonathan Taylor down at 4 when he was the top guy. What do you think that is? That just the uncertainty with Daniel Jones and that, they're just discounting him a little bit or what? Or is it the hype of Bijan, Jahmyr Gibbs, and Christian McCaffrey? I know you and I have always been Jonathan Taylor fans, but he has had some down years.
Yeah, so with Jonathan Taylor, let me take a look at him. I think it's just uncertainty with what's going on with Daniel Jones. Because before Daniel Jones got hurt, he was really lighting it up. Like that offense was clicking, and then he kind of tailed off. And during the playoffs, he didn't. Yeah, he had 18 points a game, but like from week 12 on, his most he scored 14 one week.
I gotcha.
So, I mean, like towards the end of the season, he's getting older, more tread on the tires. The way he runs isn't conducive to being older.
Sure, I gotcha. So then,
what kind of sticks out me right off the bat is Ashton Genty.
Okay, yeah, because I was about to say the top 4, top 5 makes sense to me. I know that James Cook. Well, I mean, he was 6th last year in points per game, so that really not even that bad. Genty, I think, is about Cliff Kingsbury coming in and basically explaining that Genty is going to be a workhorse and that he's expecting him to be the best player on that team.
And it could be. And he could be. And shortly after that,
but he did have a very disappointing rookie year for what the expectations were, right? And we talked a little bit about it last year that it's tough to put a guy in that position, especially with how shitty their offensive line was. But he was even worse than I was expecting. And I was sandbagging him hard.
And Derrick Henry is what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12th.
And he was the 7th in points per game last year, but he's a year older. The offensive line took a step down. You have new coaching staff. I'm not opposed to where they got him. And I'm always a Derrick Henry fan, but I think that we're at that age now or at that time in his career now where you do have to be cautious, and so you kind of do have to discount him at least a couple spots. I think Kenneth Walker is a concern for me where he's at above Derrick Henry because
Mhm.
Kenneth Walker was good in a committee, and I think he's had the capability of being a workhorse. He's just never been used that way. And this ranking suggests Kansas City's going to use him that way when Kansas City hasn't really used running backs that way. So I don't know, man.
Yeah, and I don't like Jeremiah Love ahead of Jacobs, although Jacobs since has had off-field concerns. Williams, Brees Hall, Javante Williams.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, I am actually excited for Marion Hampton. I
Uh-huh.
think that he's one that, his ADP is deceiving because of how bad their offensive line was last year. And then pair that with McDaniel being there, I think he probably gets even more of a boost than Herbert because McDaniel's been phenomenal with running games.
Yeah, and he was 16th in ADP, but he did miss 9 games last year, so
Yeah,
that might be the concern. And like you don't know what that offense is going to look like. I can understand that, but I just
I'd be buying stock in Hampton.
yeah, I'd be buying more stock in Hampton than I would be in A Chain or Genty.
Yeah, and I will say this is one that rubs me the wrong way every year, and we talk about it, is Kyron Williams, man. It's like, why is he just
Mm-hmm.
he's dogged every year, man. He consistently performs. And it's not that he's like so far out of the range, but he's definitely still out of the range for a guy that was tied for eighth in points per game last year.
Yeah, no, I 100%. And like Brees Hall, isn't Brees Hall coming back from an injury? I don't know what we're gonna get from him.
He usually is, and they were talking about not even bringing him back, and then they tagged him, and then they extended him, and it's like what the hell are you guys doing with it, man? Like, do you like him or not? He was in a fucking committee last year
Mm-hmm.
when it was like a make or break here. It's like I don't know, dude. I like Brees Hall. I think when he's healthy, he has the makings of like a top three or a top five running back. But I don't think the Jets are the right fit for him.
No, 100%.
Cam Scatabo, not sure where he's going to be week one. I think that's an aggressive ranking for him. I like it, but I think he could be a letdown pick. Quinshon Judkins, I think, could be a value pick where he's at, to be quite honest, because I think we saw when he hit the scene last year, he is capable of being a workhorse back. They've boosted the offensive line. In a 58 ADP, that's not like crazy, but for a running back, man, he could for sure be like a top 10 in
Mm-hmm.
terms of the rankings this year.
No, 100% there.
All right, it gets sloppy from here, man. Like, what else are you seeing that sticks out to you? Where the hell was J.K. Dobbins? Because he's going to
He's
get his, and he's not in the top. He's not in the
35.
top 30, man.
He's 35.
And I get it. He gets hurt all the time, but dude, when he plays, he's going to be solid. I'd love to see Montgomery hit that top 25. That'd be great now that he's in Houston. And he could, but Houston's offense is a little streaky.
Yeah, Houston's offense is a little streaky. I was looking for wow
Looks like we're
points
about
per
out.
game.
We'll take our
Uh,
10 here.
I'll
And
come back to tight ends.
yeah. All right. Talk to you in a minute, man.
All right.
We're back and we are talking tight ends, my man.
before we got to tight ends, a couple things I noticed when I started looking at it is Alvin Kamara is 7, 8, 9, 10,
Well, you got ETN as
12,
replacing him, right?
13 is 44, and Zach Charbonnet is 41.
Yeah, you'd think Charbonnet would get more of a look unless they're expecting the other Notre Dame running back to beat him out,
I think
which they might,
are.
because they drafted him at the end of the first round. So,
Yeah, because they have Jadarian Price at 27.
which is 27 and 40, whatever. That's committee.
I just noticed that and thought that was those two were a couple potential sleepers I saw.
Yeah, I got you. I don't know about Kamara just because a lot of people are saying he's going to be a cut candidate and that they're planning on going all in on ETN. So, but we'll see. All right, so tight end, my man. We got Brock Bowers on top. I know last year he had a down year from what people were expecting. Down year meaning fourth in points per game, but that was just because the Geno Smith experiment failed, right? And he still ended up having very respectable stats. So him being at the top,
And he has a rookie quarterback that's most likely going to throw to him, and we talk about it all the time. Is the tight end is that rookie quarterback's best friend?
yeah, and even if Cousins starts, Cousins likes his tight ends, so I think it's encouraging. Trey McBride at 2 obviously makes sense because McBride was top in points per game last year. Tucker Kraft at 5 is the one that gets me. So they've got Colston Loveland and Tyler Warren like leapfrogging Tyler Kraft. And I know Kraft missed some time last year, but when he plays, man, he is legit. And Loveland and Warren had amazing rookie seasons at 13 and 14 in 80 or not ADP in points per game. But to have them bump over Kraft, who has a few years of experience now doing it, I think that that's a little bit premature of an assumption.
Well, I also think that they're concerned that about what Kraft's going to come back because he had the knee injury he tore his ACL in week 9 last year.
Okay, so yeah, I guess if they're worried about his timing for week 1, then that makes a little more sense. But then for his ADP to be here seems like then it's probably too high.
Yeah, I don't know what to think of that. All reports I'm reading is he'll be ready for training camp. I think he's going to creep back up.
Okay. And then just look at the ADP. So even without looking at the order, Loveland's ADP is 37, and then it drops to 50 for Warren and 58 for Kraft. Basically, they're saying Brock Bowers, Trey McBride, Colston Loveland, we're entering a new era of Rob Gronkowski, Travis Kelce, George Kittle. Like that's basically what they're saying with these top 3 tight ends this year. And I think for sure 2 of them you can bank on. Loveland, I think the arrows point to that direction, but they do still have Cole Kmet, who's been a big contributor in that Chicago offense. And so I guess for him, I want to see it before I believe it, but I do believe the potential's there.
Yeah, and then Harold Fannin over.
He had a great rookie year too, but yeah, the quarterback thing in Cleveland, I don't know. Over Laporta, I think it's just because Laporta might not be ready, he should be ready for week 1, but he's not participating in off-season practice right now. So that could have something to do with that.
And I don't get Kyle Pitts.
He finally had a top 10 year last year, and ADP is basically just mirroring it,
Okay. I'm going to retract that. because I skipped right past Pitts on the points per game list.
Okay.
And I was like, I'm not seeing him. I'm like at 20 and I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah,
seeing him.
yeah. Because normally you don't, right? Normally you're like, oh my God, he's like top fucking 5 in ADP, and he never finishes in the top 10 in points per game. But yeah, he finally did it, right? But can he do it again? I would
Mm-hmm.
be nervous about it. I'm not sure. I think
Yeah.
that,
And he
I
had
think,
his, God.
yeah, I was going to say, I think that it's nice to see Dalton Kincaid kind of finally settling into his spot. And I do kind of like that Kelsey and Goddard are after this range because they're both on the fade side of their career. Kittle has the potential to surprise to the upside. It just
So,
depends on how quickly he's going to be back at full strength.
but Goddard still had a top 5 points per game.
I know, but you know, can you really count on him to replicate that at this age? I don't know, man.
And
You
then
know,
George
they were
Kittle
talking
was
about
number
cutting him
3.
last year, and then he did it. So no, what I'm saying is Kittle, I think, could surprise to the upside big time. It's just a matter of how healthy is he going to be because he's coming off injury.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all my beef is with the tight ends. I do like that Isaiah Likely went to the Giants. I'm excited for him. I think his
Mm-hmm.
ADP is reflecting that. Then you got other guys on here. Mark Andrews, look how low he is. Without Isaiah Likely there, they're basically saying it's time to fade him. Or Rondé Gadsden, he had some great games last year, but what did they do at tight end? They brought in somebody, I thought, in San Diego or in Los Angeles. Who the fuck did they bring in? Oh, they brought in Njoku.
So Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews, I don't know why Mark Andrews is this high.
Because he's the top dog in Baltimore, man.
So he was, I guess it's not that bad, but I mean, and
He
Likely so
historically
high.
is, yeah, he's historically the top target for Lamar, and I get that, right? Like that's just how it is. But it's at some point you can't rely on him anymore, which I think is why they had Zay Flowers so high in the wide receiver rankings this year.
Possibly. I mean, I'd see that. I just like with with uh with Mark Andrews, like 4.9
Yeah,
points
he
per
fell
game,
off hard last year, man. Yeah.
and Likely at 2.5.
Yeah, but you got to remember, Likely was the number two, and now he gets to be the de facto tight end one with the Giants.
Yeah, but even as the de facto number 1 with the Giants, like the Giant. Oh, there we go. Theo Johnson. Okay, I was like the Giants 22 5.5. Okay, I can get more on board with that.
Yeah, and I mean, Likely showed a propensity to make plays when they got him on the field. Remember Neighbors, his status for week one's up in the air. I don't know. I like the prospects for Likely. I hear what you're saying though. It's you're asking for something for sure. I guess
Yeah.
at this stage for the tight ends, I mean, where's that at? It's like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, 14. I'd roll the dice on him as the tight end 14. I'd be comfortable with that.
Yeah, I could be comfortable with that. I'd like I said, like I was looking at it, and then
Yeah.
I thought Theo Johnson at like 2 points per game
I mean,
was
I
the
think I think one that's interesting here is I'm looking at the list is, what's going on with Hawkinson because Kyler Murray wins that job. And Hawkinson can be sort of like a poor man's Trey McBride in that offense.
yeah. And last year he was 28 points per game with a guy that couldn't throw the ball.
Yeah, I mean, I think Hawkinson could have a resurgent kind of year. Does it put him top 10? I don't know. Maybe. just because of the state of the tight ends. It's just going to depend on what happens in that offense.
Yeah, it depends on what happens to that offense. Depends who's quarterback. Was Hawkinson coming off an injury last year? Because
I thought it was the year before, but let's see. Season end. Oh, he had a season-ending shoulder injury in December. Yeah, but was that just because their season was washed? Sometimes, they IR guys at the end of the year just because they know they're out of the playoffs and they're just like, hey, let's hang it up. I don't remember how bad his shoulder injury was.
yeah, I don't see anything like besides the season-ending injury.
He took a pay cut to stay with the Vikings. That makes me
uh,
think. That makes me think he's fading.
yep.
That's all right. I was hyped for Hawkinson when he came out, and then he just, it was one of those typical Lions things. You draft a guy that high at that position, he's never going to live up to the expectations. He was good, but he was never great. And then Minnesota, same thing. Cousins was there. He was good, never great. He could still be good, but you can't expect him to be great. So it is what it is. All right. So I thought there might have been a little magic there. I think Jake Ferguson, with where he's at, he's a very safe pick with his ADP. I don't know, man. I don't know. Juwan Johnson, he seems like he always gets attention, and then I don't know, where did he do points per game? 16, so it's not horrible. Like you're getting value there, but yeah, I don't know if I'm seeing any like real sleepers at tight end, man.
Not really. All right, you ready for team defense?
Let's do it.
All right. My first beef is number 4, number 5, number 6.
Number 4, number 5, number 6. Okay.
Bears, 49ers, Cowboys. The Bears last year were 13th in points per game. The 49ers were 24th. And the Cowboys were 31st.
Well, so the 49ers, right? They had fucking Bosa, Fred Warner. I mean, they had so many guys out, right? And the expectation that those guys are coming back. And if they come back, they could very easily have a fucking top 5 defense again. And so I think the question is, are we seeing these guys reach that stage of their career where they're high probability of re-injuring, and then I would discount them? Or do we think that it was just fluke like so many of the injuries have been historically with the 49ers, in which case you would try to give them the benefit of the doubt? But then I also am careful with it because when you look at their ADP, I mean, between the number 4 defense and the number 10 defense, you're only talking seven draft spots, man. That's like really tight. That's basically saying we think all these defenses are a crapshoot.
Yeah, and between the number 1 and the number 4, you're looking at 30 spots.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm just trying to defend the 49ers because I like the 49ers. But the Bears, I think that they have issues at edge now.
Mm-hmm.
The Bears, if the offense takes a step forward, which they probably will, that can help the defense rate because it's about tempo and whatnot and controlling the ball. Dallas, I think, is just a story of how they've shifted the focus on that team, and they've, my whole thing is they prioritized the secondary. It seemed like in the offseason. And I don't know that that gets it done. I think they should have done more with the defensive line. But, philosophically, they did put an emphasis on boosting the defense. Aside from that, it's always hard to count out the Eagles. I don't know why the Eagles are that low.
And Jacksonville that low.
Yeah, I mean, Jacksonville surprised last year, right? So Jacksonville probably deserves some respect.
And Cleveland that low.
Well, Schwartz is gone, so I'm not.
True. Schwartz is gone. I forgot about that when I was. No, that makes sense now.
Yeah. Defense is a very volatile thing from year to year, right? So it's kind of, I can see why the ADP compresses after you get through those first couple teams. It'll be interesting to see, honestly. Like, I think the Giants have potential. Like they've done a lot of good things with that defense. The Chiefs had a down year on defense, but they've got the pieces and they've got the right coach. I guess their secondary is super fucking thin now, though. Vikings with Flores, man, you can't count them out. I think Detroit nipping on Vikings' heels here in the ADP, that's something that's hard for me to get on board with. I would love to see Detroit's defense be better, but it's hard to see it, right? Like they just, they lost some guys, man. They lost some guys. And then they've got Branch, Kirby Joseph, and who else? I know we got a third guy that's starting the year hurt. So it's, I can't get on board with the Lions defense, but they're not high. So it's not like I can really balk at where they're at on the rankings, right? So, but I would have the Patriots over the Lions for sure. It's weird seeing the Patriots below the Lions. And even the Falcons, man, the Falcons are super low, but the Falcons defense finally turned around and they kept the defensive coordinator even though they switched the head coach.
Yeah, but also you had the double-headed defensive coordinator, head coach, defensive-minded that I think boosted their defense a little bit.
I suppose that's a good point. Yeah. Okay. Well, for shits and giggles, do you want to do kickers?
Yeah, I don't like this kicker order. Outside of Aubrey, I understand that.
I mean, Aubrey did have some uncharacteristic misses last year, which calls into question his humanity as a kicker, right?
Nick Folk at 2 makes no sense to me. I don't think Atlanta's going to score that many points.
I'd have Fairbairn for sure at 2. Jason Myers I would have up there somewhere because he's settled into being one of the more consistent kickers.
With Jason Myers, I think that's hesitation on what Seattle's going to be this year.
Okay. And then I do like Cam Little just because of the long fucking kicks, man. You got to give that guy some love. And they're going to give him the chances.
Yeah, they're going to give him chances. I think Jacksonville might
score a little bit. Will Lutz is
high.
Will Lutz always lets down.
So let me see. Where was Will Lutz in points per game last year?
Dude, he always disappoints, man. He always misses. Yeah, and not only that, he always misses the big fucking kicks. And so it blows my mind that Sean Payton has been so loyal to him. I fucking sell the shit out of the Will Lutz stock with him as the number 4 kicker.
Yeah, 100% there.
And that's probably about the only thing I'll balk at on this list, right? Because the rest of it, you could probably make arguments left and right. But yeah.
Yeah, I think looking at it, that's about where, the two things, Folk and Lutz.
Okay.
2 and number 4. Those are the ones I have issues with.
Yeah, I guess with Folk. So what the fuck is going on with Younghoe Koo, man? Is he out now?
Was cut. He was cut.
and nobody's picked him up, man.
No, he's with.
Oh, he's with the Giants now.
Yeah.
Oh, he's in a kicker competition with the Giants. Dude, Younghoe Koo was fucking solid for a while. Although he did fall off hard, so I guess you never know. Once kickers lose their mojo, man, it is disastrous, right? So I don't know. But Younghoe Koo lost his mojo with the Chargers and then he regained it with the Falcons. Maybe he'll do the same thing with the Giants. I don't know.
Yeah, and I think the funniest name is I like the story about him behind him too. I like
Dicker the
can't
kicker.
Dicker the kicker, but like the story behind him, like when he was like signed by the Chargers, and like it's really cool by this artist. He was on the way to a Carrie Underwood concert with his girlfriend.
Okay.
He got the call. He had to fly to Los Angeles. Turned around, didn't go to the concert. So Carrie Underwood gave him and his girlfriend a private concert a couple months later.
Sure.
I just think it's really cool on the artist.
He got the hookup, yeah. He got the hookup.
I think his first game was on Sunday night too, so he got that tie-in.
Okay. Okay.
Like he was like with the team for like 2 days.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what else to say about kickers, man. I mean, really, it's kickers are Aubrey, Fairbairn, Myers at the top. And then you go to a whole second tier, which is like Dicker, Little, and you can stack in a lot of them. Bates, Boswell, Reichert, I don't know, man. That's why them and your defense are normally your last pick in fantasy.
I did hear a rumor that every time Harrison Butker misses a kick, a woman gets a PhD.
Oh, damn it! I gotta edit the video now. You
Why?
son of a bitch. Yeah, yeah. Hey, those are your words, allegedly.
Allegedly, that's what I hear.
Allegedly, yeah. I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, Butker was one of the best kickers for a long time, and then he's kind of faded a little bit too. So I don't know, man.
Yeah, he was tied for 17th in points per game.
Yeah,
Right.
he's had a couple
9
streaky
points, 8.8.
seasons, man. That's all I'm saying though is that he's in recent years he's had like a very jagged boop boop boop, like he just is. It's like up, like the lights flickering a little bit, and that's not good when that happens, man.
Mm-hmm. But really, outside of, I mean, will you take Lutz and Folk out of there? So you're looking at like the top 10. Outside of that, like maybe bounce at 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7,
Don't go too hard on kickers.
Maybe bounce like McLaughlin or Pinheiro up a little bit.
McLaughlin was good, man. He was good. Pinheiro was good too. He's had like a resurgence in his career, especially with the 49ers, which has been huge, man.
Yeah, but like really outside of like those little tweaks, there's not that much of an argument with the kickers because it's really if you don't have like Brandon Aubrey, Kaimi Fairbairn, you're really streaming your kicker week by week.
I gotcha. Well, you could definitely stream the kicker for sure, and you can stream your defenses sometimes too. So, like most leagues, I would say you can stream your defenses. Some leagues that I've been in, man, teams will fucking hoard 2, 3 defenses, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? And then there's just nothing, dude. There's nothing. So I'd say at the end of the day, know what your league tendencies are because that'll dictate a lot of it.
All right, are you ready to go to individual defensive players? I'm kidding. We're not going that far.
Oh, I was going to say bring it on, even though I already closed my browser. All right. Well, I'm good, man. You want to wrap it up and then we can chill for a minute?
All right, let's wrap it. Thanks for listening to us rant.
All right. Peace out, party people.
Later.
Gridiron Grinder. Hut, hut, hike.